After crying, Tunde begged Akin to take care of their grandpa and their companies. Then he took few of his things and left the mansion. It was a sad day for the Babasolas. The only person happy about the outcome was Emilia. Now that Tunde has been disowned, it meant everything Chief Jide has would be theirs. However, Chief Jide did not name Akin his successor. The day after Tunde was gone, he announced that Tunde has gone abroad to study. He also announced that Akin will take over the management of Ultra 7 Hotel, but the man remained the chairman of both their bank and their company. Emilia was furious. She couldn't believe that things remained the same even after she kicked Tunde out. In a blink, 5 years passed. Akin and Emilia's marriage was on the brink of breakup. Akin had regretted what they did to Tunde. His grandpa had never been the same, and the hotel he was managing has not been doing well. He knew that if Tunde had been around, he would have helped him, and by now he would have gotten better at his job and would have received more responsibilities. Emilia was not helping. All she did was spend money shopping and throwing lavish parties. Akin had tried to divorce her several times, but each time she would threaten to expose his part in setting Tunde up. Now his grandfather had fallen ill and had been hospitalized. While in the hospital, the man appointed someone acting chairman instead of naming Akin as his successor, which made Emilia mad. Few days ago, they found out that his grandfather has hired someone to find Tunde. Emilia had been boiling since she found out. Don't you get it? If he returns, he will give him everything, Emilia said to Akin, but Akin didn't care anymore. He wanted Tunde to return home and take charge of everything. Before he married Emilia, he never cared if his cousin became the successor or not. However, Emilia vowed that she would never let Tunde return. I will destroy everything if he returns, she vowed.
Jennifer Adams sat before the doctor. Liam, her 4-year-old son, is sick. He has aplastic anemia and needed a bone marrow transplant to survive. Jennifer was no match, so they've been looking for a donor for him. Madam, the only way is for you to get a relative to donate for him, the doctor said. There is no one, doctor. His father is abroad and can't get back right now. Find a donor for me. I will pay anything, Jennifer pleaded with the doctor. After she left the doctor's office, she went back to one of the VIP wards where her son was. She sat down and watched her son sleep, tears in her eyes. If only she could find his father. For years, Jennifer has searched for information about the man in that hotel room. Not even the picture helped. If only they had asked the hotel manager. But because they assumed he was some thug who took advantage of her, they were asking the wrong people. All his life, Tunde had kept a low profile, so no one really knew what he looked like except for a few people. And after what happened 5 years ago, he paid a large amount to experts to remove all his pictures from the internet. So when Jennifer did a picture search, nothing came up. Meanwhile, Tunde walked into the hospital and headed straight to the VIP ward. He saw about his grandfather's hospitalization on the news by mistake and decided to come home. It was when he got back into the city that the people his grandfather hired to look for him found him. The reason they didn't find him was because everyone expected him to leave the country, but he didn't. 5 years ago, when he left his family, Tunde took his money and went to one of his friends who has been begging him to invest in his agro business and invested. For 5 years, he studied and learnt everything he needed to learn about agriculture and agro products. Their business thrived. He is now a rich man. on his own, but not anywhere near the wealth of the Babasolas. Tunde was about to enter the VIP section when he collided with a lady coming out. It was Faith, Jennifer's assistant. The lady stared at him speechless. She could not believe that the man they've been searching for years is standing before her. Are you okay? I'm sorry, Tunde said, snapping her back to her senses. I'm fine, sir. Welcome, sir. We've been searching for you for years, the assistant said in excitement. Then she ushered Tunde to follow her. She thought he was there for them. Tunde, thinking she's one of his grandfather's staff, followed him. When Jennifer saw him, tears of joy flowed down her cheeks. Finally, her son will be okay. Thank you so much for coming. I will pay you any amount. Just name your price. But please, you must save my son, she begged. Tunde looked at them confused. Have we met before? He asked, feeling a sense of familiarity with Jennifer. Jennifer was surprised that he did not recognize her, but before she could explain, Tunde told them that they must have mistaken him for someone. He explained that he was there to see his grandfather. Then he excused himself and walked out. Jennifer gave the sign and her assistant rushed out to follow him. Soon, she returned and reported that the ward he entered was occupied by Chief Jude Babasola. They were both surprised to find out that Chief Jude Babasola was in the same hospital and that the man they've been searching for, the man from that hotel room, the father of her son, was no other than Tunde Babasola. Jennifer decided to give him time to see his grandfather. Then she would explain everything to him. Meanwhile, once word got out in the Babasola's household that Tunde was back, Emilia called Lucy, the housekeeper from 5 years ago. When the girl refused to do what she wanted, she threatened to send her to jail. 5 years ago, Lucy acted out of desperation and agreed to do what Emilia wanted because she needed the money to save her brother who was involved in an auto crash. She regretted her actions later, but it was already too late for her. Anytime Emilia needed someone to do her dirty work, she would call Lucy and threaten her with the video of her rinsing Tunde's glass cup with an aphrodisiac. She was the one who handed the wine and the glass cup to the waitress who served it to Tunde. The thoughts of what Chief Jude Babasola would do to her for being part of the people who framed his beloved grandson scared her and kept her in Emilia's chains. Now that the girl was back, Emilia wanted her to resurrect the issue. But now, she wanted her to go public. She wanted to destroy the Babasolas and Lucy wants no part of it. She wondered if Chief and Tunde would forgive her if she confessed to them. Nowhere would she go public with the story. Emilia had called and ordered her to come to the hospital and make a scene, but Lucy had no intention of doing that. Several times, she had thought of running away, but Emilia had made it clear that she would make her family suffer if she disappeared. So Lucy went to the hospital with the intention of throwing herself at Tunde's mercy. The trick, however, was how to locate Tunde in the hospital without Emilia seeing her. As Lucy walked into the hospital, she saw Tunde and Akin coming out discussing. Before she could hide, Akin had already seen her. He rushed to her, grabbed her hand and dragged her outside. What are you doing here? He demanded. Lucy was surprised. She had no idea Akin was no part of this new plan. But before she could explain, Emilia rushed to them excited. Are you here to seek justice? I understand completely. If I were you, I would want the world to know the truth, she said. But her husband shut her up. When Tunde saw that they were drawing the attention of others, he hurried over to them. He had had time to think about what happened 5 years ago, so he knew his cousin was part of it.
No one would dare harm him in their hotel unless someone from his family was part of it. However, when Akin saw him earlier, he looked genuinely happy to see him, so he thought he regretted his actions, but seeing that girl there proved him wrong. No way would she have been aware that he was back. Someone must have told her. What do you want? Tunde asked the girl. She wants justice. She wants you to rot in jail for what you did. Emilia shouted at him, but Aki shut her up. People were looking at them, and Lucy didn't want to be involved in any scandal, so she turned and ran away. She took them unawares, so Emilia couldn't stop her. I'm leaving once Grandpa wakes up, Tunde said, trying to defuse the whole situation. Akin was surprised at his announcement and asked him why. Tunde explained that it was obvious they didn't want him around. Someone told that girl that he was back and even told the girl where he was. Emilia told him that yes, they don't want him around, that Akin deserved to be the successor. However, Akin refuted her claim and apologized to Tunde for all they had done to him. He regretted ever listening to his wife and pleaded with Tunde to stay and run the company. Tunde turned and went back into the hospital without saying anything. He had suspected his cousin, but having him confirm it hurt more than he cared to admit. As Tunde walked back to his grandfather's ward, Jennifer accosted him and insisted they needed to talk. Tunde was already angry, so he told her to peace off. But instead of walking away, she grabbed his hand and dragged him into Liam's ward. Just 2 minutes of your time, she said as she dragged him in. Tunde told her to piss off again, but she ignored him and started explaining. This is my son. He's 4 years old. He's your son too, so you need to save him. He needs a bone marrow transplant and I'm not a match. I've been searching everywhere for you for years, but what did you say? He's my son? How? Tunde asked, cutting her off. How can he be my son when I've never met you? It was then Jennifer opened her phone and showed him the picture Faith took that day. He couldn't believe it. It was him at that hotel that fateful day. Jennifer narrated how he entered her hotel room and she was already drunk, so she assumed he was the man they hired for the night. Everything she said matched Tunde's memory of that day. But if this is the lady he slept with that day, what about Lucy? After listening to Jennifer, he agreed to submit himself for tests to see if he is a match for the boy. He also asked the doctors to do a DNA test. After their grandfather was discharged from the hospital, the old man called for a family meeting. Tunde, Akin and Emilia attended the meeting. I heard that the girl from 5 years ago has resurfaced and is demanding for justice, Chief Jide stated. Before Tunde could say anything, Akin confessed everything to his grandfather and begged for their forgiveness. Emilia was not happy that he confessed and called him all sorts of names. Afterward, she declared that Chief Jide would name her his successor or she will destroy them and send Tunde to jail with the video she recorded 5 years ago when they were all begging Lucy not to go public with her story. What are you doing, Emilia? Lucy is not even the girl he slept with. How can he go to jail for a crime he did not commit? Akin shouted at his wife, totally disgusted at her willingness to destroy everything because of greed. Do you think the public will care about the truth? Your family will be finished once the video is released. You will hand over to me, old man, or say goodbye to everything. Emilia said, excited at the prospect of becoming Chief Jide's successor. She didn't care about anything else and went on to blame everything on Chief Jide for always favoring Tunde over Akin. She also blamed Akin for threatening to divorce her. Chief Jide and Akin were furious at the turn of events. The only person unbothered by Emilia's threat was Tunde. You forgot one thing though, one thing you couldn't control. The real person I slept with, Tunde said. Who cares? Emilia retorted, determined to get what she wanted. I do, Jennifer said, walking in with her son by her side. Now that Liam was on his feet, his resemblance to Tunde was obvious. Grandpa, Akin, this is Jennifer Adams, the CEO of IGF. She's the lady I slept with that day, and the boy is Liam, my son. Everyone was shocked and happy except for Emilia. They all knew who Jennifer was. Her legal battle with her family after her father's death was all over the internet and made her famous. Chief Jide was extremely glad to have a great grandson. Emilia was furious, but there was nothing she could do to suppress the truth. Afterward, Akin filed for a divorce, and with Emilia out of the way, he pushed funds into Ultra 7 and revived the hotel to its former glory. With time, he became more confident in himself, and their grandfather gave him one of the bachelor branches to manage. Chief Jide finally retired and named Tunde his successor. Tunde still owned a 35% share of the agro company he started with his friend, but he became a silent partner there. He and Jennifer started dating and later got married. Having retired and taken proper care of his health, Chief Jide Babasola lived for 8 more years, seeing Tunde and Jennifer got married and have 2 more kids. Akin found love again, got married and had 2 beautiful kids with his beautiful wife.